Listen to this. Well, that's fine. That works. But now listen to this exact same progression, same key, same chords, same tempo. I didn't change the chords. I didn't change the key. I didn't even change the tempo. All I did was add a few passing chords, and suddenly the whole thing has more movement, color, and direction. If you've ever listened to a great pianist or gospel musician and thought, how does their playing sound so connected, so smooth, so intentional? Well, passing chords are one of the biggest reasons why. They're the difference between a chord progression that just sits there and one that actually goes somewhere. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how passing chords work. Not just the theory, but how to actually use them in real progressions. We're going to cover major keys, minor keys, chromatic approaches, diminished passing chords, and I'm even going to show you the gospel minor passing chord move that makes minor keys sound massive. And here's the best part. None of this requires you to be an advanced player. If you know your basic chords, you can start using this today. So by the end of this video, you're going to have at least 3 passing chord moves that you can drop into your playing immediately. So let's get into it. What is a passing chord? So before we start adding passing chords to progressions, let's just take 30 seconds to make sure that we're on the same page about what a passing chord actually is. Because once you understand the idea, everything else in this video will click into place really fast. A passing chord is exactly what it sounds like. It's a chord that passes between 2 other chords. It's not part of your key. It's not a chord that you linger on. It's a brief in-between chord that connects 2 points and makes the movement feel smooth and intentional. Think of it like this. Imagine you're walking across a stream, those of you who are hikers out there, and there are 2 big rocks that you need to get between. Now you could jump straight from one to the other. That'll work. But if there's a stepping stone in the middle, the whole crossing feels more natural, more controlled. And that stepping stone is your passing chord. And just like a stepping stone, you don't stand on it, you move through it. Passing chords are almost always just 1 beat, sometimes even half a beat. Their whole job is to create motion and then get out of the way. I'll show you what I mean. Here are 2 chords, C major and F major. Now that's a perfectly normal chord movement. Nothing wrong with that. But now watch what happens if I put 1 chord in between them on the way there. Now you hear how that middle chord creates a sense of arrival when we land on the F? That E major chord doesn't belong in the key of C, but it works as a passing chord because it moves by half step right into the F. And your ear barely questions it, it just feels right. In this video, we're going to look at 2 main flavors, if you like, of passing chords. The first is what you just heard, a chromatic passing chord, where you approach a chord from a half step above or below. That's the most common type and the most immediately usable. The second is a diminished 7th chord used as a passing chord. Now that sounds more complex than it really is, but I promise you by the time we get there it's going to make total sense. Both of these passing chords work in major keys and minor keys, and I'm going to show you exactly how to use them in both. Now, there's one thing I want you to keep in mind as we go through this. Passing chords are a seasoning, not the main dish. The best musicians use them selectively. One or two well-placed passing chords in a phrase does far more than cramming them in everywhere. So just as you're learning these, think about taste, not just technique. All right, let's start in major keys because that's where most people feel most comfortable, and the concepts translate directly into minor once you've got them. All right, let's start with the most useful passing chord move you can learn, the chromatic approach. This is the stepping stone concept from a minute ago. But now we're really going to dig into it and see all the ways you can use it. So we're in C major, and I want you to move from C major to F major. That's your 1 chord to your 4 chord. That's one of the most common movements in all of music. Well, here it is, just plain. Key of C, going from C to F. Now, the F major chord, that's our target. We want to arrive at F. And the chromatic passing chord rule is simple. You can approach any chord from a half step above or a half step below. Now, a half step below F is E. So we try an E major chord as our passing chord. So you hear that pull into the F, that E major chord, that's not in the key of C, but it's sitting right a half step, it's sitting a half step below our target. And our ear accepts it completely. It actually wants to resolve to the F. Well, let's try approaching it from a half step above. A half step above F is F sharp. Well, that has a slightly different flavor. That's a little more tense. That's a little more dramatic. Now, both directions are valid. It just depends on the mood that you're going for. Here's what I want you to understand. This isn't just a C to F thing or, a 1 to 4 thing. This works for any chord movement. Whatever chord you're heading toward, you can approach it from a half step below or a half step above. So, for example, we can go from A minor to G. But we can use a chromatic passing chord from above. Or moving from G major to C major, we can approach C from below with B major. It's the same idea, different chords. The formula is always the same. You find your target chord, the chord you're going to, and you go a half step above or a half step below and pass through it. When you're trying this at your keyboard, here's the easiest way to practice it. Take any 2 chord movement that you already know. You find the target chord, the second chord, and you build a major chord 1/2 step below it, and then try it in context. It won't always sound perfect on the first try, but 9 times out of 10, it's going to work. And you'll start hearing it everywhere in songs once you know what to listen for. Here's another example of a passing chord. I call this the flat 7 passing chord. It shows up everywhere. It shows up in pop songs, in soul music, in gospel, in R&B. Once you hear this move, you're going to start noticing it in songs that you've known for years. It's the flat 7 passing chord, and it sounds more complicated than it is, I promise. All right, we're still going to be in C major. Now, the flat 7 chord is simply the major chord built on the note 1 whole step below your root. So, in C major, the root is C. And so now we have B flat, 1 whole step below the root. So that's B flat major. Now, B flat major does not necessarily, or doesn't naturally, I should say, live in the key of C. But as a passing chord, it's incredibly effective. So you're moving from the 1 chord to the 5 chord. So in C major, that's C major moving to G. Very common, very natural. Now what happens, watch what happens when we drop B flat in there. So you hear how the B flat creates this descending momentum, and it lands perfectly on the G. It's almost like the chords are tumbling forward. It gives the progression a groove and a direction that just feels inevitable. So here, you can listen to this in a full 4-bar phrase. You can hear it in a musical concept. You know, you could build an entire song around this. And somebody probably has. But the B flat chord, it's doing double duty here. It's functioning as a passing chord, but it's also just a great sounding chord in its own right. That's the beauty of the flat 7 passing chord. It's a passing chord, but it's a colorful chord depending on how you use it. You can try this in your own key. Whatever key you're in, you find the chord one step below or one whole step below your root. Make it major and drop it in between the 1 and the 5. So in G major, that's G major goes to F and then goes to D or whatever. The shape of the move is always the same, just the notes change. All right, here's our third example of a passing chord. And this one even has more color to it, a little more drama. And we're talking about the diminished 7th chord as a passing chord. And if that sounds intimidating, stay with me, because by the end of this example, you're going to wonder how you ever played without it. Now, those of you who have been through any of my music theory exercise videos or any of the music theory stuff that I've done on this channel, you know that a diminished 7th chord is a 4-note chord built entirely out of minor thirds. Every note is stacked a minor third apart. It has this tense, unresolved quality. It just makes your ear desperate to move somewhere. And that tension is exactly what makes it so powerful as a passing chord. Now here's the rule. Yeah, this is a beautifully simple rule. Build a diminished 7th chord 1/2 step below your target chord and use it as a way to approach that chord. Well, let's say we're moving to F major again. You know, going from C to F. Now 1/2 step below F is E. Here's what our passing chord E diminished 7 sounds like. Hear that tension? Now what happens when we resolve it to F? You almost sigh with relief when it lands on that F. That resolution is incredibly satisfying to your ear. And once you start using it, it becomes a little addictive. Well, let's put it into context. Here's a simple C major progression. You know, we start on C, go to F, then to G, back to C. Now, watch what happens when I approach the F and the G, each of them with a diminished 7th passing chord. So we have E, diminished 7th, E diminished 7, F, F sharp diminished 7, and then G, and then back home to C. Every chord arrival is now prepared. That diminished chord, it creates anticipation, and the resolution delivers it. This whole progression has a sense of inevitability. Now, a quick tip on fingering, by the way. Diminished 7th chords are actually one of the most hand-friendly chords on the piano because of their symmetrical structure. Every note is equidistant, which means the shape repeats itself as you move up the keyboard. So spend some time getting comfortable with just 2 or 3 of them, and you'll find that they start showing up in your playing. We've got 3 solid passing chord moves in major keys. We have the chromatic approach, the flat 7, and the diminished 7th. Now, I want to take all of that into the minor territory because minor keys have their own personality, their own tension, and passing chords sound absolutely stunning in that context. And that we're going to save for the next video. So I encourage you to stay tuned.